Okay, let's go. So I'm putting myself out there, folks, and I promised some tips and tricks. So right off the bat, quick video about some really weird ways to get out of anxiety. So many times throughout my OCD journey, I was at well over a 10 and anxiety wise. What that means is like you get to a 10, all logical thought process stops. Some people say 100, whatever. But the point where no matter what anybody says to you, no matter what's going on, you just are stuck. For me, several times I was on the floor, couldn't move. A whole lot of those stories that I'll share with you, but you know what I mean. If you're dealing with OCD and anxiety, you get to this point where you just can't, maybe you call it a panic attack. Maybe that's what it was. But it's a bad place and nobody externally can talk you out of it. So here's some tips I learned, and these are going to be a little unconventional. And so I apologize. This is not meant to be funny, but some of them are rather funny, but they helped. So while I was waiting for treatment, I had a therapist who was just trying to help me get by while I was in the waiting period for an OCD specialist. And he said to me about, one time he had a patient and the patient was way over a 10 and he made him stick his hands in cold water. Okay, so I took that and I'm like, At the time, my oldest was very empathetic towards my OCD, so I tried to make it a little more fun. So I gave him, they always had a water bottle, ice water when they went to bed. And so I said, listen, honey, if you see me at that point, and he knew what it was, he's old enough to know, you can douse me with the water. And one day I was reading to them and he heard me read the same thing several times. He knew that I was stuck beyond stuck and he just snuck around the corner and squirt that water bottle at me. And it was cold, y'all. And I was in shock and immediately he's like, I'm sorry. And I said, no, honey, it's okay. But thank you. It's not the best way to go, but it worked and I needed it. Other ways are sour candy, really anything to get yourself out of that place and into your own body and in the present. And that's really hard to do, especially for yourself when you're in the moment. So if you have someone that is loving and caring and empathetic, please give them some of these strategies. Another thing to do, if you can do it, if you can think of it in the moment, and I'm telling you, it is not easy. So employing some help sometimes is good. But, just doing some jumping jacks or even some mental math, like count backwards from 100 by threes or something. Now, I had a number thing, so if you have a number issue, obviously that's might be a trigger for you. Do some wall push-ups or, some kind of yoga pose. One of the coolest things to do, I didn't know this until I started doing bar workouts. Yeah, I'm 46. I'm doing bar workouts and I love them. But literally just bending over and putting your head down, right? And shaking out your brain really helps. Like if you can think to do that in the moment, give it a try. It really helps. And there's also a little bit of a visual cue to it because you're like bending over and you're like, hey, look, let all this crap just dump out of my brain. And those are a few. I wrote a blog about this on my site, outofocd.com, with a whole bunch more tips and tricks. And, check that out. If you need something, a 5-minute, refresher, please come back to this video. Again, I know where you are and I've been where you are, and it is a dark place. And it took me a long time, and I hope that no one else has to spend more than 30 years dealing with this disorder. But just know that I love you. I'm glad you found this video, and I hope you come back and, you got this. Bye.